mostly because I like to get into the cultural side of fireworks and show how they've shown up in artwork and movies
and so many civilizations too.
Exactly, fireworks play an important role in a lot of different cultures. You know, I mean, China, of course, but Indonesia, even Mexico, and show that as well. But do it in photos and pictures and things. Even the packaging of fireworks, like see my poster here. It's black cat vest. So
speaking of black cat, let me interrupt you for a second here.
Be my guest.
Because I want people to know what your website address is so that they can check it out. It's www.black-cat-studios.com. Wonderful.
Don't leave the hyphens out.
Yeah,
But don't spell them out either. I've had people do that. I wrote in hyphen.
didn't do it.
No, fool. Little dash.
Well, getting back now to what you're working on.
A thing called Elemental Woman, which is a whole series of illustrations that evolved out of just doing something for fun and accumulating so many that I decided this had better be a book to make it all worthwhile doing. And all it is a bunch of really kind of fantasy, surrealistic, symbolic-looking pictures showing all kinds of things with a kind of a feminine theme to them. Science and astronomy and the elements and mythology. There's 115 or 20 of these things. So there's that. There's more children's science books I want to do because I discovered I really, really, really like working for the teenage age range. I like that a lot. I'm going to do one on train travel and do a book on how a movie is created from writing till it was projected. And all the people who are involved in it, who you see in the credits, but you haven't got a clue what they are. What's a gaffer? Do a book like that. I'm writing short stories, mainly about my detective heroine. They're fun to do. Oh, I don't know. I'm probably leaving out things I'm actually working on and not thinking of.
Let me ask you about the human entity. Certainly, your illustrations have included human figures, but have you investigated the human figure as you have investigated the environment?
Well, you have to study anatomy when you're in art college, but I'm not nearly as good at that as a lot of my other artist friends who do the figures a lot more than I do. It's harder for me. I have to work harder at it when I'm putting figures into illustrations. But yeah, you have to. It's like you can't make up a person out of whole cloth if you don't know the structure in the first place. They're drawing a car and knowing nothing about cars. You're going to get it all wrong.
Yeah.
So you have to know at least the rudiments of anatomy to even sketch a figure. But it's more and more of a struggle for me because I don't do it often enough to have gotten ingrained in me to just know where everything is exactly. So I'll sketch, it'll get right. But it takes me longer than some of my other illustrator friends.
Sure. Do you have an opportunity to share your knowledge and experience and ideas and imagination and so forth in terms of lecturing or sharing workshops or seminars or that kind of... You don't?
Only because, well, Fredericksburg isn't exactly a hotbed of science fiction fandom, unfortunately. And so there's not much opportunity around here really to do that. I talk at schools a lot whenever I get a chance. Just to pump kids up about art and science. And when I go to science fiction conventions, I get on the programming, the panels, I'll do slide presentations and things like that. But that's about the extent of it.
It just seems as though you have so much to share in the way of information. It would
buy the books.
Yeah, buy the books. That's true, and one can always do that. Fortunately, I want to ask you about one more character that you introduced me to on your computer when I came in, and that was Velda.
Oh, Velda!
Now, what are you doing with Velda, and who is she?
She's my favorite at the moment. I've always liked hard-boiled detective stories. The cheesier, the better. This all dates back to when I was working on Dune in Mexico. I went to a bookstore run by the U.S. Embassy, and they had these paperbacks that have been circulating around since 1940. And they're all mint condition. And I bought about 300 or 400 of them. And most of them are these really lurid, hard-boiled detective paperbacks. The covers were wonderful. They're all in the next room. I love them. And it really got me hooked on that whole genre. And about 2 years ago, I thought, gee, I ought to try my hand at it myself. And I like heroic women. I like women, strong women characters. All my books, all my novels are.
Yes, it's wonderful.
So she's another one.
We thank you.
So I came up with a character. Velda Bellinghausen, who's an ex-stripper in New York in the 1950s, who gets sick and tired of, as she puts it, shedding feathers, every night and twice on Saturdays and matinees, and sends in her $20 to a correspondence course and gets her private eye license and has herself a big case. So I like the book a lot. So I've been writing, it's like 15 short stories now all about her.
Well, she sounds like a fun character. Actually, even the serious stuff, the scientific fact and so forth, has such a fun aspect to it. I mean, it just stimulates in a way that a lot of other more serious aspects don't, and I think that's probably what's so exciting about the field that you're involved in.
Well, there's always a little humor in everything.
Well, do you have any favorites of your own, particular books that you like?
Oh, I like all my books. Usually the most recent ones are the ones I like. The Art of Chesley Bonestell I'm really proud of, because that was, it did well, it looked great. The designer of the book just couldn't make me happier. Of course, I got a Hugo Award, so I'm very proud of that.
Sure.
I like the Worlds Beyond series, which are these.
Yes.
I'm very fond of Velda, because I've had so much fun with that. But I don't know, I'm probably working on something now I'll just fall in love with too. I like the sound of my own words.
And the look of your own pictures, I would have. Can we get a glimpse of Velda? People who have access to internet, or is she
Velda
not?
has her own personal website.
Ah, does she?
It's www.veldapi.com. It's all
Excellent.
spelled together. Just Velda P.I.
Okay, well, we will look forward to
You'll find out all about her.
to finding out more about Velda, and looking forward to the next books. And I thank you so much for letting us come and chat with you today. There is
Entirely my pleasure.
This incredible world that you're involved in is so very, very exciting. And
I live in a world of my own creating.
Well, we feel very fortunate to have been able to share it with you today.
Oh, thank you.
We were very pleased to have an opportunity to interview Ron Miller. This is Debby Klein inviting you to join us again.